Please be advised that the views and opinions of the host and guests do not reflect those of the station, the management, and its network.
Hello everyone! I'm Mara Munoz. Welcome once again to the newest TV show of Golden Nation Network. This is GNN Times.
Yes, Mara, it's good to be with you again. And for all of you who are watching this episode right now, I hope samahan nyo kami hanggang dulo sa pagpapanood ng aming programa at pag-uusapan for today. I am William Theo and hello to our beauty queen, Mara. And handa ka na bang sa mga topics natin for this episode?
Of course, it will surely be another crowning moment not only for me, ngunit para din sa aking one-man team co-host na si William. Shall we start?
Yes, for sure. For today's topic, we'll be tackling the fashion sense of the Philippines from traditional to modern day era, kung paano tayo na-impluensyahan ng mga dayuhan o paano tayo lumikha mula sa sariling katha pagdating sa pananamit.
Napakalalim at poetic naman ng ating discussion for today. Speaking of impluensya, decade after decade, palaging may bagong nauuso at naipapakilalang clothing style sa ating bansa. Kadalasan mula sa impluensya ng pop culture o kaya naman ay mula sa mga tanyag na style icons na napapanahon.
Yes, that's right. Fashion has evolved so much. Di ba ngayon tayo? Korean era ngayon di ba?
Korean era.
Yeah, it seems to be that they're the most influential. So we can reminisce and remember from the rich history of fashion or clothing in our respective countries. So ang first question na babato ko sa iyo, Mara, ay ano yung nakagisnan mong uso noong panahon mo sa estilo ng pananamit?
Well, ako before, kikay yung pananamit ko. So, I wear short skirts, ganyan.
So, yung mga cheerleader type. Like that.
ganon,
Something
tama.
like that. Okay.
So, how about you? Have you ever tried wearing the traditional style of clothing sa kinalakihan mong bansa? What can you say about the traditional clothing in your country? Share your experience naman.
Well, because when I was young, I was living halfway between Indonesia and the Philippines. So, ang traditional sa Pilipinas, of course, is the barong, di ba? Yung typical na barong Tagalog sa lalaki at saka black pants. Sa Indonesia naman, it's almost the same. It's called batik. So it's printed. If barong is like more of weaving, more of woven designs on a plain pinya or husi, ganon. Ang batik naman is many different colors, many different textures, and it can be as simple or as loud. So basically, yun. But the cut is the same. And ano pa ba, when I was growing up, uso yung parang pinapaliit dito, tapos tinitiklop.
Skinny jeans. Tapos
Skinny jeans, pero
tapos
dito
titiklop
malaki.
mo.
Parang mga boyoyong
Parang baggy
clown.
na naka-
Yun. So, ayun. So, sa'yo, basically, yun ang sa'yo. Sa akin, mga ganun ang traditional, di ba? Especially pagka nagpo-Flores de Mayo ka, ganun. And all of those things. So, how do you stay in style? Ikaw?
I stay in style. You know, pag lagi akong confident sa mga sinusuot ko, and kapag lagi kang pinupuri ng mga nasa paligid mo, like, oh my gosh, your clothing right now, ang sexy mo, maganda ng suot mo, ang gwapo mo ngayon, ang ganda mo. Yun, I can stay in style kasi dahil din, confident din yung mga tao sa paligid ko.
Yeah, so para bang, if you get compliments, doon mo ma-realize na, oy, pwede kong i-keep ito. Pagka sinabi, parang, ay, hindi maganda yan, ano na siya, etsapuera na siya, parang gano'n.
Oo, parang, naku, baka hindi ako maging confident sa susunod na show kasi pangit daw yung damit, ganyan.
Okay.
So, yun. I stay in style madalas because of the people that surround me.
Okay, eto naman. Siyempre, mas appropriate ito sa babae, sa lalaki parang hindi Ano yung nilulook forward mo na masubukan in the future? Because I know you've been through a lot. Yeah. Is there anything na naiisip mo gusto mong masubukan na hindi mo pa nasusubukan?
Ano bang hindi ko pa nasusubukan yung naked.
Uy, ibang klaseng
Hindi.
fashion
Uy,
style.
hindi.
Hindi, pero...
Hindi, ayoko nun, syempre.
Oo, syempre.
Pero nasubukan ko na naman naman lahat, pero in the future siguro yung mga mga shiny clothing.
Yung mga talagang mga hot couture, yung mga ginagamit sa runway pero hindi mo magamit sa ano
Yes,
di ba?
mga shiny clothing. Yun ang hindi ko pa yung
Okay.
madalas na nagagamit ngayon.
Okay.
So indeed, we are greatly influenced by colonial and media influence pagdating sa style of clothing. Ngayon naman, let's see if we can remember or ever tried some of the iconic fashion outfits na nauso noon.
Okay, so ang unang item natin was worn by a lot of Filipinos during the year 2009 to 2013. This is the jelly shoes and the high-cut shoes.
Alam ko yan, jelly shoes. Nagsuot ako niyan before, guys, kasi nakikita ko yung mga friends ko, mga classmates ko nung high school. Susuot sila ng mga jelly shoes kasi comfortable siya, soft siya, and kahit bahain sa labas, paglabas ng school, di ba? Hindi mo may expect eh. Hindi masisira yung shoes mo.
Kaya lang, ang jelly shoes naman, pagka pinasukan ka ng buhangin or maliit na bato, nakakainis. At saka lalong-lalo na pagka binaha ka, parang naglalagkit siya because you can't really wash it
So,
right
na-try mo
away.
na ang
Oo
jelly
naman,
shoes?
na-try ko na yun. They forced me to wear it. I even remember the color was sort of like chocolate brown and it was not flattering, for sure. So, high cut naman, I think that's normal sa
Pang
lalaki.
boys eh,
Pang
oo.
boys, yan,
Pang
yes.
lalaki.
For basketball and so you don't hurt your ankles during the era of the Air Jordans, Nike Air Jordans and stuff
high
like
cut
that.
nga yun.
Yun. So, ito naman for you. Have you tried the popular culture fashion trend in the Philippines, the never give up baggy shirts, pants, cap, shades, bandana, and has a one-sided hairstyle? So, everything is so, woo!
So, mga emo yun.
Mga ganon.
Emo days. Hindi
Yeah.
naman, hindi
Not
naman
yet.
na-experience. Actually, about sa baggy pants or shirts, actually, bumabalik siya ngayon.
Oh, really? Okay.
Minsan, ganun
See,
sinusuot ko.
I am the most unfashionable person in the world, so I really need to get lessons from you. One day, you gotta dress me up. Okay, so it feels good to remember all those memories just from a piece of clothing we have worn. And we're pretty sure nakarelate rin sa mga viewers natin ang ating first segment sa pagbabalik tanaw sa kanilang estilo ng pananamit nitong mga nagdaang panahon. More of those elevated fashion stories in a community of diverse creatives. Stay up for more of the next segment here on GNN Times. Stay with us, don't go away.
Welcome back to GNN Times. Matapos ang talakayan sa traditional clothing ng kinagisnan nating bansa noong unang panahon, it's about time to discuss naman yung mga napapanahong estilo ng pananamit ng mga kabataan o henerasyon ngayon.
Okay, and before we go into that, I wanted to actually talk about something really interesting because it's not just about, like now we're talking about clothing through the generations, but how has it also affected us? Like for me, I was not really a fashionable person. So honestly, I started to get traumatized when I was a kid because it was my mom who chose my clothes. And the way they treat you in school among your peers when you're young, meron yan na kinalaman sa sa fashion sense mo eh. So para bang if you're not wearing what the others are wearing or if you're not wearing what's in style, di ba para bang linoloko ka? They call you a geek, they call you a nerd.
Yeah, it
they
will
say,
really affect
yeah,
you.
actually, they will really para bang pretty much pick on you. Naramdaman mo ba yan sa mga ibang kaklase mo or nung bata ka? Kasi ako, I was always an outcast. You know what they used to do to me before? Yung mga, naalala si ang mamo, maaalala niya ito, yung 2 peso coin na maraming sides. Yung para bang coconut tree sa likod, tapos another, hindi mo na naabutan yun. They used to make little bets with me on, because like, what's he gonna come in and ganon, and make us fight and bet with 2 peso coins when I was a kid. So for me, clothing was really important to keep up with the times because if not, para bang aanuhin ka. Yung para bang they're not gonna be nice to you. So para bang outcast kung baga. Ikaw naranasan mo yan?
Yeah, naranasan ko din yun. Like before, sabi ko nga, kikay ako kung magsuot. kasi yung group of friends ko, yung mga girls, mga kikay sila. And dati din kasi nag-majorette ako. So yung mga friends ko, mahilig sumayaw, ganun yung mga suot nila. Kung magsusuot ako ng, like for example, yung mga super covered na clothes or black clothes, parang iisipin nila, parang you don't belong here.
Yun na nga, you
diba?
don't belong, yes.
Yun, na-experience ko.
At saka pag chichismisan ka nila, di ba? O,
Correct.
tingnan mo naman ang suot
Correct.
nito. So, para bang, yun. So, let's start with streetwear. Since we had a little bit of that intro, ano yung go-to fit mo sa ganitong estilo? Yung para bang streetwear? Like, I guess,
Wala.
ano ba?
Comfortable lang na damit, di ba?
Okay.
Like shirt, shorts, pwedeng
Jeans,
slippers lang. Or, jeans, kahit ano lang na comfortable ka.
Anything comfy. Anything. Yung parang
Yeah,
kahit
comfy.
na maglakad ka sa
Kahit
kalsada,
oo.
kahit na gaano kainit, pwede. Okay. So, ang pangalawa naman.
Denims.
Okay.
So trivia sa denims, did you know that the jeans and t-shirts combination was introduced to the Filipinos by the Americans?
Yes, that was during the time of, if I remember, Esprit and Guess. They were like the brands to have before. It's either you have Guess jeans or you have Esprit jeans.
I
or
love Guess.
Benetton. The United Colors of Benetton. Now I know there's so many others. There's 7 for All Mankind. There's whatever and
Jag.
yeah, and a bunch of other things. Okay, and then yung pangatlo is
Crop top. A trend popularized during this pandemic. So, sa pangbabae.
oo nga. What is a
Lalaki ba?
crop
Crop top.
Oh, paano yung parang
So, maiksi lang.
oh, ito dito siya.
Dito lang.
Okay.
So,
okay.
pwedeng i-pair mo, di ba, high-waist pants. So, bumabalik nga yung mga high-waist pants ngayon dahil sa mga crop top. Yung mga teenager ngayon, mahilig sila mag-crop top pang TikTok nila. So, mas confident sila sa pagsayaw nila kasi umaangat-angat, nag-flowy.
Oo. At saka, hindi mahuhubo yung pants because high waist
High
na.
waist,
High
yeah,
waist.
or high shorts, ganyan.
Okay, and then the next one is vintage clothing like turtleneck, sweater vest, pattern polos, and it's not only during the 70s, but the reason why I'm saying this is because this was the trend during my time. Those turtlenecks. So you had to have a pretty long neck to be able to wear a turtleneck. Otherwise, it'll like eat into your face. Okay. Even men also started adapting this type of clothing, and until now, normalized na rin ito sa mga lalaki who grow their hair long mula noong naging acceptable dun sa post-colonial era. Parang yung flower children, you know, during the baby boomers, they had long hair. Men had long hair, it covered their ears, and if you were looking at them from the back, you wouldn't even know whether that's a shaggy cut na lalaki or vice versa. Ayun. Okay.
Nakikita ko lang yun sa mga magazine
Pictures, yeah. Ako, I saw that in the flesh. Okay.
Ganun ba? Among these, ano yung sa tingin mo yung pinaka-in sa'yo na style of clothing?
Well, for me, actually, I'm a jeans and t-shirt person or a khakis and t-shirt person. V-neck, ganon, and really rubber shoes because I guess I have flat feet. And it's not comfortable. Of course, as a news anchor, I have to dress up in a coat, in a tie. But to be honest, it's not something that I would do on my own because I feel like when I'm wearing a necktie, it's like I'm a dog on a leash, and then somebody just needs to pull the tie. Like go to the left or go to the right. It's nicer when you're comfortable because especially we're living in a very hot, humid country. So dapat talaga, komportable ka. Kung hindi, papawisan ka eh. At saka syempre, kung wala ka sa bahay, mahirap magpalit all the time. Ikaw naman, Mara, ikaw, if you were
Anong
to choose.
pipiliin ko?
Yes.
You know, I love denim talaga. I always wear denim pants or denim shorts. Especially kasi hindi siya nagugusot kaagad.
Okay.
Kasi yun sa reason.
Yeah, that's
Diba?
true. That's true. You don't look messy. You don't look para bang bagong gising, di ba? Okay. So sa beauty pageants, this is one thing that I'd really like to know because I know that it's a big preparation to join beauty pageants, not only in the evening gown, the swimsuit competition because you have to look good, feel good, and everything else. So sa beauty pageants, ano ang differences ng clothing noon at ngayon? Like during the time, syempre, yung mga nakikita mo, yung mga old winners back in the 90s and early 90s and the trends now.
So, difference noon at ngayon. Noon, Ang simple. Yun yung napansin ko. Simple ng mga gowns
Even
nila.
the hairstyle, di ba?
Even
More
the
or less.
hairstyle, yeah. Actually, pati yung paglalakad nila,
Ah,
sobrang
yeah.
simple. Walang mga arte. Ngayon, may mga snake, ganyan. So, ngayon, marami na talagang fashion designers. Naglalaban-laban sila. Parang nung huli, nanood ako ng Binibining Pilipinas. May mga nakaangat na dito, ganyan. And may mga nakikita na rin na skin. Noon, hindi ganun masyado nakikita yung skin ng isang candidate.
Okay.
Ngayon, parang mas sexy na
Oh,
kung may
okay.
makikita kang skin sa gown mo. So, yung tingin kong difference noon and ngayon.
But how do you walk? Like, you know, you mentioned yung snake na walk.
Oh, may snake,
yeah.
may tsunami,
Yeah.
mga
So,
ganyan.
how do you walk like that if your clothes are really tight
Long.
or long? Wouldn't you trip on them or something like that? Paano yun? Rini-rehearse din ba yun? Or, kasi I know that the Philippine traditional clothing is one of the most complicated, also one of the heaviest, di ba? So,
Yeah.
para bang,
Yeah.
paano yun? Talagang pinagpa-practicean ba yun or kailangan mo lang talagang dalhin?
You know, thank God kasi never ko na-experience yung gano'n, yung dula habang rumalapas sa pageant. Yeah, you really need to practice, guys. So ako, marami na kasi akong nasalihan since high school ako. So lagi na ako nagsusuot ng mga long gowns sa mga competitions. And yeah, you really have to practice and dapat dahan-dahan ka. Kapag long gown kasi dahan-dahan ka eh. Yung music mo rin dapat dahan-dahan din. Kung mga swimsuit naman, di ba
Oh,
mabibilis?
pwede.
Pwede
Naman.
kang, pero kung long gown, or kung hindi naman yung iba, sinisipa nila.
Oh,
Sinisipa nila yung gown para
para
lumayo, umangat.
umangat para makalakad sila.
Yeah. So, pwede
Okay.
mo rin namang hawakan, di ba? Yun. So,
Okay,
you really
I
need to practice din talaga.
Okay.
How about sa field mo, William? Ano yung clothing style?
Well, for me, in my field, as a contractor, again, it has to be very comfortable because we go out into the sites and then we need to be comfortable. We go under the sun. We check sometimes. Of course, we always have our hard hats because especially when you're starting to do multiple floors and when you're doing your foundations or kung nagbubuhos ka ng mga steel bars, no, there's always that safety issue of something falling on your head. So basically, it's a t-shirt or a jacket and jeans or one of those
Jeans talaga palagi, no?
jeans
Kahit
talaga
saan
palagi
talaga
because it's the
hindi mawawala.
easiest. It's really the easiest. And of course, safety shoes. That's if you're a contractor. Of course, if you're a news anchor, it depends on your set. And I think this is very interesting for most people to know. If you're standing up, you have to wear your suit and your pants and even your shoes, not terno. But if it's a set that you're sitting down, you can actually just wear your necktie, your coat, and you can
And
even
yung
wear
pangibaba,
shorts.
kahit
You can
ano.
even wear shorts and rubber shoes because you can't see it anyway, because especially if it's a long program, you also want to be comfortable, except sometimes if you're not wearing your pants, like in the beginning when I was starting to evolve and starting to use shorts underneath my jacket, I'm not a serious, so I try not to do that. So even if I'm anchoring now, even if it's more comfortable pants, maybe jogging pants or yung para bang joggers na may
Joggers,
garter,
yeah.
That
Uso ngayon
that's
ang
fine.
joggers.
Wag lang naman yung shorts kasi para bang it really looks awkward also. Ayun. Okay, so is there anything else, Mara? Something else that you feel you want to add? Yung para bang, what do you think the trend will be in the next few years? Yun na lang.
What do you
Do you
I think?
Yeah, like do you think mag-change or do you think eto na muna siya for a while?
Yung mga clothing kasi natin, nagtatagal siya, depende kung ano yung nagva-viral ngayon, like sa social media, ganyan.
Or sa
Pero-
TikTok, lalo na,
Yeah.
di ba?
Lalo na yung TikTok,
Lalo
grabe
na.
ngayon. So, ang dami na nga rin nag-ano dyan nagsisell ng mga clothes dahil super in demand ng TikTok. So, yes. So, depende kung
It
ano
depends
yung mga
on
nagva-viral.
On social media.
Pwede rin bumalik
Oh, yeah,
yung mga
yeah.
clothing. Parang ngayon, bumabalik yung mga high-waist nga. Kasi nung parang high school ako, wala eh. Hindi, ang
Hindi siya high-waist.
high-waist.
Ako ayaw ko ng high-waist sa lalaki. Parang gusto ko
Ay,
low-waist.
lalaki before.
Oh, di ba
Before.
lalaki hanggang dito? Okay, so since we still have a lot to talk about, that's it for this segment. Thank you for sharing your insights, Mara. To our televiewers, huwag kayong aalis dahil we will be back for more interesting discussions right here on GNN Times.
Welcome back to GNN Times. Yun, super na-enjoy ko tong topic na to.
Yes,
Kasi marami tayong nalalaman about clothing noon at ngayon.
Yes, and hindi lang dito sa Pilipinas, but generally, it's more of one generation to another. Sumusunod na lang yung bansa natin. So, kanina napag-usapan natin ang evolution of clothing sa Pilipinas from before, noong unang panahon hanggang kasalukuyan. Down to our last segment na we were able to talk about a lot of things, and despite the contemporary fashion boom, some kinds of clothing never go out of style. And I think that's the most important thing. Clothes that never go out of style, because no matter how old you are or how young you are, you can still wear them and still look good, diba?
That's right. It is ever-changing, but it is timeless beauty will always remain. So ito ang unang tanong, why do you think fashion change all the time?
That is a good question. I should ask you first, because why not does it change? Alam mo, that's like the biggest question, because like even when we were talking off cam to our cameraman, I was also saying that even in the other fields, like in singing, in pop, like I remember during my time, Michael Jackson, Madonna, they stayed for a very long time, maybe 5, 6, 7 years, and even now Madonna is still Madonna. But then more of the as you go into the modern times, they only have the popular singers only have one hit, or they like I don't want to name, because that might not be a good thing, but they don't really last too long. And I feel that fashion is also the same. Para bang ang uso sandali lang, hindi sila nagiging uso sa mahabang panahon, no? Bakit kaya?
Pero ngayon, kaya nagbabago siya.
Okay.
Because of the influencers din.
Okay.
It
On social
depends.
media.
Yeah. Social media or mga napapanood mo ng mga shows. Depende kung sinong magugustuhan mo na influencer ngayon or mga celebrities. Kasi may mga celebrities talaga na nag-e-explore ng mga iba't ibang clothes. Like Heart, Evangelista.
Yes.
Marami rin gumagaya sa kanya. Gusto ko rin yung clothing niya.
Yeah,
Kahit
she's
na
very
iba-iba.
classic. Iba-iba,
Diba?
but she's always classy, and it always looks good on her.
And napaka-popular niya ngayon dahil doon sa mga vlogs niya. Nagvo-vlog siya ngayon dahil sa mga damit niya. Mas nagustuhan na naman siya ng mga tao noon pa man. Pero ngayon, sobrang dami niyang viewers sa mga vlogs niya. Dahil
Pero it's amazing how she was able to sort of like adapt, from being a teeny bopper.
Super simple niya before,
Super
diba?
simple, yes. To actually a fashion icon right now. Not only her clothes, but even of her makeup and her hairstyle, di ba? Para bang lahat sumusunod
So it really
sa kanya.
depends kung sinong
Yes, I think
nakakausap
so.
mo, sinong napapanood mo. So feeling ko si Heart, baka may na-influensyahan din sa kanya na tingin niya na, I wanna change this kind of clothing.
Pero sa tingin mo, sa akin na a little bit off topic na isip ko lang, sa tingin mo, importante din sa fashion yung babagay sa'yo. Siyempre,
Yeah.
people have different body types. Some are on the lighter side, on the heavier side. Some are tall, some are short. Do you think importante yon to consider when you're choosing a fashion style? Something to
Oo.
flatter your physique, so to speak.
It really depends talaga kung anong body type
Yes,
mo,
yes.
di ba?
Oo.
So like for example, if you're fat, if you think you're fat, gusto mo medyo loose para hindi nakita yung curves
Yes, yes.
ng
Yeah.
ng body mo. And if you're really sexy, 'di ba?
Then you would want to show
Pwede
it
kang
off. You can if
pwede
you
kang magsuot ng gusto mo na
Yes.
sexy.
Okay. So basically, that's why we think it changes all the time, di ba? It really depends on influencers, the times, what is uso sa mga fashion capitals of the world, which is like Paris, Milan, di ba? Or even New York, di ba? So, what do you think is a style that stays in fashion for many years?
Yung mga simpleng clothing.
Totoo. Yung mga
Yun ang
even
hindi
simple
talaga.
colors, right? The basic colors, which is basically black, white, gray, para bang light gray, navy blue, dark green, di ba? Maroon, more or less. They
Shirt
stay.
and pants lang.
Yes, oo.
Yun talagang hindi magbabago kasi comfy ka kahit saan ka magpunta. Yun ang go-to mo na damit mo.
But
Like,
you think age has something to do with it also? Kasi
No.
syempre, no naman. Pero kasi yung mga iba sasabihin nila, nakasanayan ko ito di ba? Para bang kaya sila ganon. And yun, kaya siguro nagkakaroon tayo ng bridging the gap from one generation to another. Ayun. Pero ikaw, may favorite ka ba? Para bang, of all of the clothes na simple, meron ka bang particular favorite era? Hindi necessarily like sinusuot mo kasi napag-usapan na natin yan. But visually, meron ka bang gustong komportable man siya or hindi? Meron ka bang gustong look? Na para bang for you na, wow, every time nakikita mo ay nagagandahan ka pa rin.
So ngayon, gusto ko yung baggy pants
Okay.
actually. Baggy. Or hindi. Sorry. Flare. Yung mga flare pants.
Pagka
Kasi
pagka
curve.
sinabi mong flare, paano yun? Parang mali.
So, nakaganon siya.
Lumalaki siya as you get to the
Malaki siya
ankle.
dito. So, nagkakaroon ng curves yung girls. Guys, yun yung isa sa secret ko. So, nagsusuot ako ng flare jeans. So, yeah, may shape ka na dito sa butt mo, di ba, pag ganyan. So, magkakaroon ka pa ng shape dito. So, parang Coca-Cola shape sa legs.
And the Coca-Cola bottle iba naman yung Coke in can.
Hindi yung in can. Yung bottle.
Coke in can is a different thing.
Hindi yung in can.
Yung in the bottle. Yung traditional na old Coca-Cola
Parang,
bottle.
yung
Yeah.
body, Coca-Cola body, ganyan.
Okay. So, how do you embrace your own style? Yung para bang, this is like, pagka sinabi mo, embrace your style, para itong signature mo as something that nobody else can copy and something that is yung para bang endemic to who you are. Yung para bang meron ka bang style na kahit ano pang sabihin ng tao, ay, sorry, hindi ko papalitan yan. Ito ako Meron ka bang ganun?
Well, nangyari na ba sa akin yung gano'n? So, mahilig din ako mag-dress. Yun, so mahilig ako mag-dress. So, there are people na sinasabi sa akin na parang, bakit lagi kang naka-dress, ganyan. Sabi ko kasi comfy siya. And, isang suotan mo lang For girls isang suotan mo lang. And tingin ko, okay ako dun sa damit na yun. So, kahit na yung sinasabi nila. Well, topic natin kanina, kung ano yung sabihin ng ibang tao. Pero may times din naman na ako, yung suot ko, sabi ko, this is what I want. Hindi ko naman kailangan na pakinggan sila. Kung tingin ko maayos yung suot ko, I just tell myself, look in the mirror, sabihin ko na, I look good in this, Pero, yeah, depende rin syempre, kailangan.
Yes.
Mo rin ito.
Meron ka bang particular fashion icon sa Pilipinas? Whether bago or luma, artista na para bang, pwede naman, sinabi mo si Heart, no? Pero meron pa bang iba na yun ang gusto mong forma?
Yung gusto kong forma.
Oo.
Gusto ko talagang forma si Heart.
Okay.
Pero, ang lang kasi kay Heart, hindi ako pala shopping
Na
to.
tao, oo.
Well, nagsha-shopping ako, pero yung kay Heart kasi, super shopping talaga
Parang
siya.
yun lang ang ginagawa niya, yun talaga
Oo,
Oo.
super talaga siya. Kahit na gusto ko magsuot ng ganun, parang ayoko magtodo shopping.
Okay.
Yun.
So para bang
Nililimit ko siya.
you still want to find yung para bang good, cheaper finds because pagka nagsawa ka, di ba? Kung masyadong
Yun din,
mahal.
super expensive din
Oo.
kasi, di ba?
Yes.
Kahit na gusto ko siya. Yun, I'm trying lang na, try na mag-ano sa style na yon with the cheaper
Oh yeah,
price.
with the cheaper options, which I think many people would like to know. Minsan, magkakaroon tayo ng topic na ganyan, how to make yourself look good on a budget. Diba?
Yes.
Importante yun because yan, maraming manonood.
Pwede natin maging topic.
Yeah, maging topic because not everybody has. Kasi ang problema sa clothes kasi once you use it, hindi mo na yan mabibenta uli eh, di ba? Yung para bang lalong-lalo na kung hindi simple yung damit mo. Let's say markadong-markado, di ba? Like para bang sa lalaki, kung ang suit mo is, let's say, light blue, if you use it over and over again, they know that it's exactly the same suit that you wore. Unlike if you're wearing a navy, a dark gray, a charcoal gray, or a black, you can use it forever. Wala
Actually,
naman
black
din.
or white nga daw
Yes.
ang madalas na lagi mong suotin. Hindi mapapansin.
Hindi mapapansin. Even
plain.
gray. So yun. So why do you think clothing fashion is so important in culture?
It is so important kasi dun mo rin mapapakita yung nararamdaman mo sa sarili mo.
So it's an expression.
It's an expression din. Kaya super important ng fashion. How about you?
Yeah, exactly. I was just gonna say the same thing. It's an expression of your individuality. So kung sino ka bilang isang tao and how you're feeling at that particular time. One thing though that I must say for me that hasn't changed is my hairstyle. It's either a short version or a long version of exactly the same thing. Yung para bang or anything else in between. But if you look at me when I was in high school, when I was in grade school, except in grade school, it was like an apple because it didn't, but then...
Pero madalas sa lalaki ganun eh. Hindi
yes.
talaga masyado nag-aano ng
Yes,
hairstyle.
ayaw ko talaga yung mga trendy na haircuts na yung para bang para mukha silang mga, it's so hard to fix, Kaya ayaw. So I think we have the same answer there, no? So
Yeah.
the next question, Mara, is?
So what can you say about the evolution of fashion or clothing style in the country?
Well, for me, I think we are, to be honest, other than our own traditional para bang costumes and yung like yung mga ternos, yung mga barong, napapansin ko ang mga Pinoy minsan, mahilig silang gumaya ng mga style. Tapos aayusin na lang nila, i-improvise na lang nila at i-modify, which I think is pretty brilliant, diba? So you get the trend and then you sort of tailor it to your own taste. Parang ganun.
Yes, yun nga ngayon ang mga Filipinos, lalo nung nauso yung social media. Marami nang naggagayahan talaga
Oo.
ng mga clothing.
Pero sa tingin mo, has the pandemic influenced clothing and fashion style? Sa
Yes.
tingin mo? Yun kasi ang magandang itatanong ngayon Kasi syempre we were like lockdown for, let's say, sabihin na natin 2 and a half
2 to
years,
3.
more or less, yung para bang in various 30% pwede, 50% pwede. Nung time na yun, hindi tayo makapunta sa barbero or sa salon. So sa tingin mo, nag-evolve yung
Nung pandemic, nag-evolve talaga siya. Lalo, we're just in our house, di ba? Nakatutok lang tayo sa laptop, sa phone natin, browsing the internet, and lumakas yung mga online shops, di ba? So, habang wala tayong ginagawa, nasa bahay tayo. Actually, ganun nangyari sa akin. guys.
shopping ka lang yung shopping.
Nagsha-shopping ako online. So, everyday may dumadating sa bahay na Shopee, Lazada, ganyan, or Zalora. Yun. So, sobrang naka-affect siya dahil sa mga napapanood online.
Okay.
Naging ganun na rin yung...
Pero, yung sinasabi mo nga online shopping, kasi sa pagkaalam ko, many people want to try what they buy. Kaya nga tayo pumupunta sa department store so we can fit our clothes to see if it looks good on us. Because sometimes if you just see it in the store, you're not so sure if it's gonna look good on you. Problema ba yun during the online era? Yung parang bang, paano yun? Kung alimbawa nakabili ka ng isang bagay na parang bang, ay, hindi ko gusto yung sukat sa akin. Anong nararamdaman mo? At ano ang ginagawa ninyo? I never shopped online, by the way. Never.
Okay.
Because I don't know. I always felt that these things you have to buy. Unless, of course, it's food Panda or Grab. Siyempre, iba na yun. That's food. But for shopping, especially for personal items, I still want to buy it myself. So my wardrobe, in other words, did a halt during the pandemic. Nothing else except for underwear and socks.
Actually, kung ako, gusto ko talaga makita yung damit, I'll go to the mall, right?
But since you cannot nga, because
But,
walang mall.
Nung walang mall, what I do is I check the comments.
Okay.
Yun. Or, yeah, I will check the rating ng mga bumili na. Kasi nangyari na rin sa akin yan eh. I bought a dress, hindi ko chinek yung comments. Hindi ko chinek kung ano yung rating nung...
Basta nagandahan ka lang.
So
mabay.
sabi ko, maganda to. So nung binili ko, dun sa photo, maganda yung fitting niya. Ganda ha.
Oh, I can't wait to hear this. Okay.
Pero ngayon, nung nabili ko siya, pagdating, super laki.
Oh no.
Tsaka straight lang. Straight lang yung ano niya. Ang expect ko, may
curva.
shape.
Oo.
May shape siya.
Alam mo kung saan yung bewang, saan yung ano.
Ngayon, yon hindi.
So anong
Yun.
ginawa mo at ano ang naramdaman mo?
Sobrang ano, di ba, ini-expect mo yung isang bagay na gusto mong suotin ngayon, tapos, na sobrang sakit.
Oo.
Masakit sa
Kasi
feeling.
kahit sabihin mo hindi siya mahal, let's say binili mo dahil hindi siya mahal. Kung hindi
Kasi
mo rin
naka-promo, di ba? May mga
Oo.
ganon, di ba?
Oo.
Kapag promo, actually, ako mahilig ako sa mga naka-sale, kahit sa mga grocery, ganyan. So, pag naka-sale, buy one, take one,
So,
sabi ko,
nabudol ka doon.
Nabudol ako! I really want to try kasi, guys, kapag may naka-sale, gusto kong matry. Sabi ko, baka maganda to. I really need to put this sa cart ko, ganyan. So, yun. So, ngayon, kapag mag-online shop ka, kailangan check mo yung shop. Dapat actually, most of the time, dapat nasa mall siya. Kasi yung mga shop ngayon, merong mall na rin
Yes.
doon.
Okay.
So, yun. Mas okay yun and check the rating talaga.
Okay, and for one of our final questions, how is clothing style relevant to our country's culture? And I think that that's one thing that I would like to see more of. I want to see in the next trend because I mean, Filipino culture is very important. Many people, many young children, many kids are already forgetting kung saan tayo nag-umpisa. You know, na para bang what makes us Filipino. So I would like to see more of the traditional designs, the traditional look integrated into modern fashion. Now, I don't know how they're gonna do that. Challenge na yun sa ating mga fashion designers. Pero sana ganon. Ikaw.
So, yeah. Sana mas maano ng mga kabataan ngayon.
Yes.
Na hindi yun puro dahil nakikita mo yung mga clothing like in the other countries na ganun yung clothing, dapat ganun ka din. Minsan nga may mga bata na iniiwas yung mga social media. Actually, may pamangkin ako nga, iniiwas yung
Di ba?
TikTok,
Oo.
actually. Hindi ko sinaano yung TikTok.
Oh, naman. Pero that's because
Pero
you need to regulate
para
You
sa
need to
mga
regulate.
bata, oo,
Yes.
yun.
Yes, because
So,
you cannot expose them to too much of that, di ba? Yung para bang hindi naman pwede. Remember, there's things for kids, things for adults, and a couple of other things that are restricted, di ba? So para bang, and even I guess we can just say that even sa mga beauty pageant, di ba? If you're wearing all the same things, and if yung para bang you're just gonna copy, how will you win? Because usually you win because you stand out. How are you gonna stand out if you are just trying to copy other people? Tama ba?
Tama.
Okay. So that's it, guys. I hope marami tayong makabuluhang natutunan mula sa mga ating topic, and abangan at panoorin ang aming upcoming episode sa Golden Nation Network. Mapapanood ang GNN sa GSAT Direct TV Channel 1 and on Sky Cable Channel 73, Pacific Cable Channel 28 at sa mga iba pang cable providers, pati na rin sa UHF Channel 47. So remember all of that, guys.
Thank you to everyone who watched our episode today. Thanks to you too, William.
Okay, and thank you rin, Mara. Time to say goodbye, but only for this week. We will see you again next week. We'll have something more interesting for all of our viewers, right? Okay.
See you guys.
It's a wrap. And until next episode here on
GNN Times.